Welcome to this episode of AirPitch Action, the 3v3 football podcast. And we're joined today by, shall I build him up? Oh, no. The one, the only, Matt from Tytherington Juniors Football Club, giving it the full title. Are you chairman, Matt, or secretary?
Oh, God, no, that's way above my pay grade. I'm just the secretary.
Secretary. The busiest role. Yeah. The busiest job.
The busiest role.
I've done all roles, and I know that is the busiest job. So welcome, Matt. Thank you for giving up some of your time today to do this. I know we've been trying to record it for a few weeks now. So I'll give a bit of background. So we now partner with your football club, Tytherington Juniors, offering our 3v3 program. So this was really, what we are now 6-7 weeks into the partnership. Wanted to review how it's gone, what you think of what we do and the 3v3 that we offer. But do you want a quick background on you, Matt? How long have you been involved in grassroots? Do you have teams that you do?
Yeah, so I started with Tithy on my lad's 4th birthday, and he's now 9.5. Started as a parent, stood there watching, as we all do, and then, as happens with everybody, got conned into helping.
Coerced. Coerced, we'll use.
That's it, coerced. That's it.
When did you have hair
I was persuaded.
Well? Yeah.
I was persuaded. I had everything then. Yeah, hair, no wrinkles on my face. I used to sleep. It was brilliant. But my dad was my manager, was my brother's manager. He put money into Tytherington Juniors in the very early 90s to stop it going bust, effectively. So I felt like I had a bit of a moral obligation to try and give back a little bit like he did, but perhaps taking it to the extreme of that. But we've sort of gone from strength to strength. When I first started, we had about 200 kids, which was about, 4.5 years ago? 5.5 years ago. We're now at about 550 who are signed and playing, with about 90 in our under 5s and under 6s. We've got 15 in our under 4s, which is a personal proud one of mine because it's got my nephews in there.
Right, you're starting again.
We're going full circle, starting again. So in addition to actually doing the admin stuff on the secretary role, I do the fun bit as well, which is coaching, which is, what we all actually do. That's the reward, I suppose, for all the hard work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Is seeing the kids actually playing and the opportunities that they get through the hard work that we all put in as volunteers. There's a massive team of us, and we all do our roles as much and as best as we can.
No, I've been down, and we did obviously the adult charity game end of last season, and you just see, like I say, the buzz about the place. It really is, a good, from the outside looking in, a real good, community club. And say, I've seen how you've grown and all the girls stuff you've got going on now as well. So well done to everyone involved.
Yeah, that's a particular pride of mine, because sort of 3 years ago, just before, literally just as COVID was finishing, we only had one girl within the club. And she played for a mixed team and signed for Man United, and is still at Man United now. But on the back of that, we actually were contacted by a sort of third-party coaching company who said he had a number of girls in a Wildcat Centre with nowhere for them to play. And it just happened that the two age groups were actually my daughter's age groups. So it was, I think, under 10s, under 11s. They came over. We now have girls' teams ranging from under 8s up to under 13s. But even prouder than that is the amount of girls that we have within the club who are actually playing mixed football, which is fantastic. They play in, what used to be known as lads' leagues, but obviously they're mixed now. But wanting to test themselves and wanting to develop and wanting to get better, and that's a particular proud one as well, I suppose, because my daughter's part of that as well. That's it's been fantastic to see, and this company leads on to what we're doing now, in that he brought over the idea of 3v3. So we actually started doing it about 3.5 years ago now, which was just on a Saturday morning, dead small pitches, small pop-up goals, but it was only 3v3. We had about 5 or 6 little mini pitches with 4, 5, 6-year-olds coming on there, having the time of their lives, because it was like, there's a ball, get on with it, enjoy it. And we said then that this was the future. Obviously, facilities and things in place dictated that we couldn't carry on with it. But it did lead nicely into what you guys were doing, which is why we jumped in 2-footed into doing as much as we can, because it's fantastic.
No, and that's it. Like I say, we started our club partnership, I think it's about 7, 8 weeks of it now. Yes, flown by. We did that. So we offer, and not just for your players, but it's predominantly, from kids from your club. We just have our Just Play sessions on a Friday night down at Macclesfield College. Dan comes down and just, he coaches a bit, but he facilitates, just the games, and just let the kids come in and just let them play. And that's always been like our philosophy. I think there's a lot of structured football out there already. And we're probably similar age. I shouldn't say that really, but when we were kids,
you look a lot younger than me, though.
I don't feel
you must have given up that secretary role.
Yeah. No, these wrinkles are growing from the grey hairs. So we have these Friday night sessions. So from us starting, like you just said there, you'd always do 3v3 before. Obviously without the AirPitch. Then, but just I always say 3v3 as a game on its own. Just is perfect. Everyone should be doing it. So when we started the partnership, what benefits have you seen, like from the players or from the coaches, the parents? I don't know. That's why we're on here, is to ask these questions. What have you seen, different then since the time we've worked together?
So probably the most important thing is the smiles on the kids' faces at the end of the sessions, which I think probably is better feedback than a parent can give you, that I can give you, that a coach can give you. The fact that they've got rosy red cheeks, they're absolutely shattered, but smiling from ear to ear because they've had an hour of, as you say, unstructured. I suppose it's like when we were kids and you're playing street football to a certain extent, and the ball's there, and they're trying things that they wouldn't normally try in training, perhaps because it's not quite as a tense environment as training sometimes can be for kids. They can express themselves, they can do tricks, flicks. If they can see the goal, it doesn't matter. If they score a goal, it's amazing. And seeing them sort of utilising skills to then put it into practice, which I can, from personal experience, my own son's been going for 6 or 7 weeks. The difference from him technically during that time has been absolutely fantastic. And there's another lad in my team called Josh, who's also been attending every session with Finlay. And those two, you can genuinely see things in matches now on a Saturday, and you think they wouldn't have perhaps had the confidence to try that before. Or there's a little flick there that you've seen them doing on a Friday night, just by totally expressing themselves and having fun, which they're now taking into the football on a Saturday. And I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I cannot speak highly enough of it. I came about it from obviously seeing your Manchester sessions, and being able to bring it to Macclesfield and open it up to everybody. So not just kids from Tytherington. We have kids there from Mac Juniors, from Herdsfield, from Park Royal. It's a proper little community session on a Friday, which is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But the parents have been nothing but, I suppose, appreciative of an hour and 15 minutes on a Friday, because obviously some of them watch, some of them don't. It's ridiculously good value. All right, it's a Friday night, so it's not always the ideal evening for people, but it's been really well received from everybody. And the core people coming are the core people who've been coming for pretty much the whole time. And I'm sure that managers will speak for themselves in their own development. Has been second to none, and much more so than what you would perhaps be able to do at just doing, an hour's training where there's standing about, there's talking, there's obviously you're coaching them to do things, but the amount of times they touch the ball and the freedom to express themselves, in a small environment, it couldn't be any better for the kids' development in my non-expert opinion at all.
Well, no, let's say you are the experience you've got. You know what you're talking about. There was two words you said there, and before you said one, I thought he's going to say this, and it was bad when you talk about Finley, your son, was that confidence to try it. And again, we say this, we see this all the time in all the sessions that we do, and for the years that we've run these, is just by having that repetition. It just builds that confidence. Like, it don't matter how old you are. We talk about, Rashford now not being able to score goals, and they go, it's just his confidence and that body language. And, I might invite him down to 3v3 to get some goals in. But it was that confidence, let's say, to go and then replicate it in a bigger match. So what does Finley play? 7s or 9s?
Yeah, he plays 7-a-side. And he plays in your, formerly your Manchester Super League in the under-10s Premier League. So it is I hate saying high standard and all that rubbish because it's still kids football, but it is quite different to your normal Saturday morning on grass, and it's kicking the ball one way and kicking the ball the other. The technical side of it is quite important, and to see him trying to express it. He did a Maradona around somebody on Saturday, and I nearly burst through the floor with pride at the fact that he just tried it, because he would have never normally have done that. And Josh, the same thing, taking players on and doing little shimmies and just expressing themselves, which is just how it should be. The pressures that are put on kids at times to do things a certain way or play in a position where sometimes they need to be kids and just express themselves, enjoy it. They will naturally get better if they're enjoying it.
No, and it is, and that was my second word. Then similar to what you said there, was just how much fun that it is. Let's say there's
absolutely
a lot of structured and organised and serious football, whether it's training or big matches. Whereas we try and create this environment where the kids know, okay, it's serious. We don't come and mess around for an hour. But it's so much fun, there's no fun and being serious can go, side by side. They can, because they're enjoying it and they're getting, what they want out of it. And we always, we speak to adults all the time, right? When really the people we should be speaking to is the kids, and they don't tell us, and whether they don't communicate properly or we don't ask them the right type of questions. But you said at the end of each session, they come away beaming here to where, and then, like I say, the worst thing that they've got out of it is they've worked hard for an hour. Yeah, or 75.
That's it. Yeah. They're shattered.
The minimum, whether they're really involved, whether they try something new, whether it's the first session or the 8th week, whatever it is, at the end of that 75 minutes that we do, they have worked hard. And unfortunately, there were some stats out yesterday regarding the number of kids from UK Sport, England or something like that they're called, and the activity levels of kids, and it's only something like 53% of the kids in this country get that hour in a day that they're supposed to get. So there's like 47% that are. There's some that are less than 30 minutes. There's some that are doing as little as 5-10 minutes, maybe even some are doing nothing. I think it was like 200,000 kids don't do any activities, at all week. And obviously we put this into football, and because it helps their game. But like I say, just the physical endeavour they have to put in, touching your net every time your team scores. And just being involved, let's say we try and do it where there's very little time, off the pitch. We're not calling them in all the time and stopping games. So that's like the minimum, what they'll get out of it is 75 minutes of hard graft. But so much fun. I say, no matter how old you are, we all want to be on the ball. We've not done some stats with yours. It's more than on like feedback, but we've done stats elsewhere. There was one last week. We were in a place and one team, 3 players, had 433 touches in an 8-minute game. And it was like, don't matter So there were some bad touches in there. There were some wrong touches. There was some being too greedy. There was some doing one-touch passing. It was just all varied, all in this chaos situation where you're constantly under pressure. There's always players trying to tackle you. You've always got a new decision to make. And they just have that repetition of it. So when they go into the big game at weekend, like you say, you think, well, I've been in this situation already. And I know I can use this skill because Finley's probably known that skill for years.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's having
he practices all the time. I think it's just having the confidence to think that, actually, do you know what? I'm going to try it. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to lose the ball. Well, I could lose the ball anyway. You know, kids should all know that. You know, express yourself, enjoy it. You know, be a child playing football with your mates. You know, sometimes, you know, parents and other people put too much pressure on kids to perform, and, you know, that comes across, and that's why I love the 3v3 thing. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it's, you know, the kids having spent so much time locked in their houses, you know, during COVID and all the lockdowns, you know, not everybody has a back garden. Not everybody can go and play street football like we all did as kids, you know, where it was all safe to do that. So giving them that opportunity to do some fun, you know, something fun for an hour is just brilliant. And I could not speak highly enough of it. I genuinely couldn't. And that's been the feedback that we've had from the parents. And from the coaches as well. We've noticed it in players from within their own teams. You know, it speaks for itself.
And again, we've seen this before. So generally, if there's a couple of kids from one team who come and the others don't, and if people don't know, like, what have they been doing? You know, why have they got? And a lot of it is a simple, you know, observation. It's just how much more intense that the players are, how they can, you know, work harder now for the duration of a game. And they see that level rise. And that's an easy thing to observe. Never mind, like, he's technically now better. He's doing this different. She's doing that better. Just how intense that they are. And people, where, you know, what's he been doing? As if, you know, he's been doing some secret side training.
Yeah, he's been doing one-to-ones and all this rubbish where, you know, we've all been there and done that. They get so much more from doing something like this. Because, as you say, the touches of the ball, there'll be some kids who turn up on a Friday who probably touch the ball more in that 1 hour than they probably do in a month's worth of training, because they might shy away from it. They might sort of let others take the lead. Within the 3v3 environment, you know, you could stand to one side if you wanted to, but it's such a fun environment that you create. They have got absolutely no idea how much they're learning and developing by just being on the ball and touching it and trying things and, you know, tackling, shooting, running. It's everything all rolled into one without them realising. It's been brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
You just made me think there, Matt, and I think I showed you a couple of weeks ago when there was one of these posts in the Facebook group, and I don't know if it was slagging off 3v3, but I'll be nice and say it was just querying what it's all about.
I saw that.
And I went in, keyboard warrior, blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
But I tried to be nice and tried to be fair in my answers. But
you're a better man than me.
Well, yeah. And some other people have jumped in with defence and done that side. But no, because I've had this for years. I say this is like, you know, seventh year we've been doing this. We know not everyone's going to like it. We know some people still think, you know, football should be different for kids. And I say whether it's right or wrong, I say we'll have that argument another day. But let's see, you've seen it, and just going on that comment there that he said, and his generalisation was, you know, why do we need to do 3v3 when it's not the real game? And it's not. You know, you never play with inflatable air pitches on a big match. You will do soon when we've got bigger air pitches on the way. But in a smaller format with no goalies, you know, people say it's not real football. And we say we know it's not. It's a development tool. It's a bit like futsal years ago. Futsal was its own game, and then they tried to rebrand it as almost like a great development tool for football. And that's how we started, really, was through futsal. We then changed it to 3v3. But that's, that development then, if people don't like it or have this negative idea of what it's about, what would you say to those people then?
One, I would tell them to give up an hour of their life and go and try it. Let their player that they're representing go and actually try it. Spend a little less time writing things on Facebook that you perhaps don't have the insight to do, and spend that time a little bit more constructively. Go and experience what 3v3 is actually about. Watch the kids. Watch your own child. See what their opinion is after it. No, it's not official football. My opinion is it should be for under 7s and under 8s, but that's another rant that I'll have. In the same way that 5-a-side is not real football because they don't touch the ball properly, most of the kids. 7-a-side, similar. So it's all development into getting them to 11-a-side, and there's loads of different things that can be done. And I'm sure it isn't for everybody, but so far I can't think of a single, apart from that they're knackered, which is good because that'll build their agility and their fitness. But there is no negative that I've seen so far of anybody that's attended one of the sessions. Yeah, I suppose you can get a bit argy-bargy as you're perhaps getting slightly older in the age groups. But as we experienced at our own adult version of it in the summer, which was a bit like a wrestling battle royal. But again, the feedback from that was the adults absolutely loved it. I mean, don't get me, there was some people there who I think had some life lessons about fitness, but it was brilliant. And I think unless you've tried it, it's difficult to be able to give a constructive opinion about it, because effectively you don't really know what you're talking about until you've been and seen the environment and seen the development in the kids, which is what it's supposed to be. Kids development, kids having fun, kids, playing with the mates and the pals in an environment where they can, express and do what they want. There doesn't seem like there's many negative things to me at all, not from what I've seen so far. So, as I say, you're much nicer and politer than me, because I'd have gone in a lot harder in that response. But and perhaps added a bit more context to come and try it. Come down on a Friday. There's ones in Manchester. It's an hour of your time. If you want to know more about it, go and have a look. Don't comment about something that you don't know about properly. It's, you just looked a bit silly in the end, the person.
That's unfortunately, everyone jumped into our defence and said how good it was. So let's say, the community and
which is a compliment to you guys and testament to the work that you are doing, obviously in Macclesfield, but obviously in the other territories and communities as well. In that, I think every single response was a positive one, which, as I say, is only testament to the work that you put in. Having been to your Manchester ones on a Monday, and then having, the pleasure of hosting you guys on a Friday, the work that you do with the kids is absolutely second to none. It is really impressive to see, and which is why we absolutely jumped at the opportunity of working together and progressing things and trying to bring it to as many kids as we can around here.
No, and long may it can continue. Like I say, we've enjoyed our time over there. Great bunch of kids. Good venue then that we've got at Macclesfield College, and then once we get into the new year, we'll see what else and we can add. We've got tournaments coming up, which as partner clubs you get discounts into. So hopefully we see some Tivy kids in our
definitely
tournaments. So that'll be good. And we just want to see these players, like I say, develop, regardless of what level they're at now. And what their ability is just can we make them better? Can we make them stay in love with football? Right? Because, there might be one kid in the whole club who becomes pro. But, we need to find Matt in 20 years' time who's going to take over running the club, who's going to have that love and passion for their local club. That means, it's going to continue. And that's always, like I say, a big part of what we want to do is just keeping players, in love with football, because we all love watching it. and they'll play it on the computer games, and they'll play match attacks and swapsies, and they'll know every player's name, shoe size, and some of the stuff what kids know about football is unbelievable.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah. There's like a kid from the second division French league, and he's like, oh yeah, I know about him, and I've watched him, and because they have access to it all, so they love the game. It's just staying in love playing the game. Then that we want to do, and as they go through bigger formats and as they get older, we see a lot of kids then drop out of normal football as they get to 11-a-side, and it's now to do with the kid. Sometimes it is, but in general, we're making them play a men's game when they're 12.
Yeah,
and you'll see it. Like I say, and we've seen it loads of times. For some kids, it's just not the right thing, to do. And they always say, 3v3 is great for the smaller ones. And you touched on before, you said, for 7s and 8s, it would be, the perfect, intro to football. And there's projects going on where that potentially will happen. But for me, I have a big passion of older kids still playing it. One, because my son's that age, he loves it all the time. And he play 11v11 Saturday, 11v11 Sunday, but then he'll always want to still play his 3v3 in the week.
My daughter goes every as you know, she was going to the Monday ones and attends the Friday sessions with the under 13. So she's 13 and absolutely loves it. And it's no coincidence that obviously the Lionesses have adopted it as as their training sort of as part of their pathway for the girls as well. She's been to 2 of the Lionesses events now, and it's only been 3v3 football, for pretty much the whole session. So she really enjoys it, and the later session in an evening for the older ones is brilliant because we've got effectively 2 under-13s teams there nearly, all playing together and all developing and all getting better and better and better. And some of the kids that you see who are older, again, there's a lad who plays for our under-13s Titans, who's technically always been very good, but perhaps lacked a little bit of self-confidence and maybe a bit of self-belief. The difference in him as a player, and the manager would absolutely back me up on this, is like a different child. If I'm saying he's still a child, he's only 13, the kid. That he comes religiously every single Friday, developing, doing things he wouldn't normally do at training for definite, because he's quite quiet. But because he's able to express himself, there's nobody there sort of saying, "Oh, right, wait your turn now. It's somebody else's go." He's really developed as a player and was good anyway, but has really, really come on. And that's testament to the work that Dan's putting in on a Friday, but also that he's having that freedom to enjoy himself. So it absolutely works for the older ones, and they can still develop no matter what age they are, because the kids, if they work hard, it'll pay off for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And back to what we said before, it's just fun. As they get older, they get more serious and more moody. Try to get a smile out of some of them is hard. But just putting them in an environment where they're going to enjoy it, and say keep that love for the game, so they'll continue playing. And we have some other sessions that only play 3v3 for whatever reason they don't like, or not found the bigger format suitable for them. So they just come 3v3, and that's like their football world. Then it's just playing this game. And I say there's not many people who only do that, but there is some. And as an introduction to football, and we've probably gone more with like the teams with Tytherington rather than like some of the new like non-team players. Okay, I want to get into football. Where do I start?
Yeah.
And this may be where we look at growing it with yourselves.
Definitely,
it's having these sessions that almost get kids ready to go and play bigger formats, rather than there you go, deep end, go and enjoy your 9v9 game, when they've not got a clue, but they're brand new to playing football. So,
well, you wouldn't necessarily have somebody who's new to swimming jumping in at the deep end and not being able to swim. So giving them this introduction, and you're almost teaching them the basics of what, kids nowadays get taught, ball mastery and all that stuff, until it's, coming out their ears. But some of the kids who are just coming into football have missed out on that early learning. So again, it's a really good way of kids catching up on some of that technical stuff as well. Which actually I've noticed that we have quite a large girls contingent that come on a Friday night in the middle session. And you can really see the difference in some of those girls who, two of them in particular, were very new to football. You can see some of the stuff that they've learned in the weeks coming on. So it definitely works for, probably the technically stronger players who just love football and want to get better, but also some of the newer ones who are just coming into football. They will catch up the others who have perhaps been playing a bit longer, much quicker through this kind of football. And we can see it every week.
Yeah, no, 100%. Again, we've seen that plenty of times over the years, and we've done that accelerated development in newer players is probably easier to see than it is in the more established ones. There was just something there, Matt, and just we're into this 8-week program now, and it seems to be a lot of talk about individual development. And again, you'll see this as the session progress, where they'll start thinking more of a team and there's better decision making. And do we go and try and beat him, or do we just play a little 1-2? And it comes out of them. So again, some of the negative feedback we've had in the past was, "Oh, you make kids really greedy." All right, and it's a bit of a misconception. Not a misconception because that's someone's view, but it's almost like we've got to go through that to come out the other side, where kids have got to be able to master that ball first, and in their head, that confidence, they'll then, I can now dribble more, all right? But then as they become a better player and make better decisions, and at 3v3, and especially with Dan working with them, they'll go, you know what, it's probably best here to play a little 1-2, to share the ball with me mate, rather than me going to get stuck, in a car.
Definitely.
And that'll probably be the next stage that we see. So whereas when we first start, we get kids who want to be a bit more, I don't say greedy, but it's not. It's more confident on the ball, so they want to show off more, in effect.
Yeah.
And that will happen, and that's where we're at now. And now it'll come into, now I don't have to only think about the ball, I can think about the game. And we'll start then, sharing the ball around and being more of a team player. And that will come. Matthew, absolutely pleasure. Thank you for giving up your time.
Thank you very much for having me. And to everybody for everything you've done. Yeah, go on.
Okay, Matt. So one last question I always finish with is, who would be your all-time top 3 players? 3v3 team, who are you having?
So I would have my hero, which is Dennis Irwin. Which is, I was a fullback as a kid and he played the same position as me. Amazing player. And then you'd have to have the new Ronaldo. Obviously, his tricks, flicks, everything, work rate as well. And then who else would I have? Ronaldinho. I'd like to see Ronaldo and Ronaldinho and even Dennis Irwin behind, propping up from the back. Well, setting up the play, and he'd put the work in with Brian Robson as a sub. Because I'd like to see Brian Robson in that competitive environment.
I think there'd be a few people going over the edge with him around.
I
don't think anyone's ever put Dennis Irwin in, but yeah, great.
I can imagine that they haven't, but there you go. You see, so that shows that I like proper football fan, me.
But no, that's it. Just that solid all-round player. You can't have 3. All the same, like any team, you need a balance. So, Irwin, new Ronaldo, and Ronaldinho. Right,
yeah.
Put that in the mix and see. So you get on the phone to Ronaldo and Ronaldinho. I'll get on the phone to Dennis.
I'll leave you with Dennis Irwin.
We'll do that. So, Matt, again, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. Say we've got Friday night sessions down at Macclesfield College. We have a WhatsApp group, then with all the links and stuff are in. So if people are interested in joining Tytherington Juniors, how do they get in touch with yourselves?
Best thing is via the club's Facebook. Just inbox the Facebook page. You know, we've got loads of teams, loads of opportunities. You know, as everybody in Mac has, you know, there's loads of really good local clubs in Macclesfield. So it's a really sort of buzzing little grassroots area, which is nice to see. But obviously, we like you to come and join Tytherington.
No, I say when we've loved partnering with yourselves. I say the communication and the help and support. So thank you from 3v3 UK and Manchester. I'm looking forward to seeing you at our tournaments over Christmas. And like I say, we'll look at planning some other stuff, you know, for maybe these newer players who are coming into the club that aren't in teams as such yet, but you know, give them that stepping stone.
And first step on the ladder. Yeah.
No, we're brilliant. Matthew, cheers for your time. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you very much, sir.
See you soon.
All right. All the best.
Take care now. Bye.